Bieg, it looks like Chris Sileski's dropped out. He just stepped off the track there at the head of the runway.
Yeah, indeed he did. So Sileski has bowed out.
Just after 3,000, 3,400 meters here. That's interesting.
So 63.73 on that last lap. 16 laps to go. Now as we're near the 10-minute mark, and so now both Sileski and Rupp, both of whom had decided at the very last minute to jump into this race. Rupp did not start, we believe, because of the pollen counts in Western Oregon here today, and now Chris Sileski is out of the field as well.
I noticed about in this lead pack, there's probably 12, 13 guys. The tail end of that pack is Leonard KOMON, the world record holder, world fastest 10-day in the road. He's really laying low here the first part of the race.
Bring him the line with 15 laps remaining. And at 4,000 meters, 10:45.02.
Now they're on 26:50 pace, more or less. So this is, they're working it. Looking at the faces out there, these, they're working hard.
Who are watching live, we do have the ability to give you a chance to interact with us here at the stadium. If you tweet using the hashtag #PreClassic, we are tracking some of those comments tonight, and certainly would invite you to ask anything of John. Questions about the rest of the meet. We've got a great day of action tomorrow here at Hayward Field. What are you really looking forward to tomorrow? Boy, where do you start?
I don't know where to start, but I love the hurdle race. David Oliver, Liu Zhang. I'd like to see Albert Bakar and Andrew Weeding at 8 with Boaz and Lang. Of course, always here, the men's mile, the Bowerman mile, even the international mile went 3:53. Ryan Gregson's back to run the international mile again. He requested that race. He looked good at Penn Relays. He ran 2:48 on the leadoff leg in the 1200.
The Australian national record of 1,500 meters this year. Phenomenal year, yep.
Women's 800 with the great Caster Semenya from South Africa. Pamela Jalima, Olympic champion in there.
And we got the Blade Runner here.
Yes, Blade Runner, Oscar Pistorius. This is going to be, that'll be a fun one tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly one of my favorite athletic memories was in Beijing for the Paralympic Games in 2008. Just as big a crowd in the Olympic Stadium to watch him compete at both 400 and 200 meters, and just an appreciation not only for him as an athlete, but just the story involved in his effort to, of course, qualify. And he still needs about, what, half second off?
Yeah, half a second, I think. I had a chance to visit with him today. Outstanding young man, just a really, really good man. They're still hanging about 26:52, more or less. All right, so Josphat, your world junior 10,000 meter champion, just took the lead. I've heard from Barbara Career, his agent, coach, he's in very good shape. He shows the signs of a very young runner out there. He's going right to the lead.
Yep.
And of course, MERGA loves this because he's the guy sitting there with all the speed. A lot of running left.
We're halfway through now. 13:26.05, so 2:41 on that.
They're about 8 seconds slower of ideal, but again, 13:26, I wouldn't say it's slow. Not by any stretch. There must be 15, 17 guys in this pack.
My count 17 as they come to the start-finish line with now 12 laps again. We are just past the halfway mark. If you're joining us here, the men's 10,000 meters, a distance night in Eugene as part of the Pre-Classic and the Diamond League.
KOMON has moved up to 3rd. Paul TANUI is up there. TADESSE's there. Josphat, world junior champion, is there. You also have Geoffrey KEN in the race, who won the World Junior Cross Country Championships. Josphat is his agent, helps coach him, really high in him. Every time I look down on my cheat sheet here, I see another name.
Well, while we're still setting up this last stage of the 10,000, and again, if you're just joining us, we can't tell you the two Americans that were to be featured prominently in this race. Galen Rupp did not start the race, we believe, because of the allergy concerns around him going into the USA Championships later on here at Hayward Field in the month of June. And then Chris Selinsky, the American record holder, dropped out just after the 3,000-meter mark. And I guess maybe just one comment from you, John, to close out the Americans in this race. Where do we stand? I mean, there's a long-term goal here to really put the Americans in the forefront of American national world distance racing again. And Chris and Galen certainly lead that group forward, and not necessarily a step back tonight, but we would have liked to have seen how they could have competed.
No, I think it's disappointing because I thought people were expecting a American record, or certainly a possibility. But again, when you're talking about 26:59, everything has to be working. Training going well is one thing. Feeling good on that night and making sure you've rested enough to have fresh legs here is another thing. You're also in a pack with 17, 18 guys who are still running fast. There's a lot of psychological considerations here. It's just not that easy. I know a lot of people who train well get to the race and are a week or so off. So it's the art of this sport is to be able to train hard and to know how to get that runner to the line ready to run fast. And it's not always that easy. As far as how the Americans do, I think we've made a lot of headway these last couple of years. It's certainly a long way to go, but I think with Alberto's group and Jerry's group, and you got TADESSE Zersenay up in Mammoth, our women have done well. We've had 3 medalists, Kara Goucher at the World Champs, Elaine Flanagan at the Olympics, and then Shannon Roberry at the last World Championships. We're making up some ground, but it just isn't going to be easy. I'm looking out here, Daniel Sorrell is way off his game, and last year he was in that race in Stanford. He ran 27:06 or 07, was in that race. He's certainly a world-class runner. You know, Josephat is just passing us. He's last in the race. He's the world cross-country champion. So, you know, it's all relative. There's guys here, world cross-country champion is a half a lap back. It's just, that tells you something about what you're seeing out there.
Well, that's the world of track and field as we face it today. You got to be a global traveler, be ready to be on at any given moment, in any given time zone. And for many of these racers, they've figured out a way to be competitive as we now dip under the 10-lap mark. 9 laps remaining.
So here's your, I would say, the hottest road racer in the world right now is Leonard. He's jumping on the lead here, followed by KISORIO, who was 4th in the world cross-country championships. You got TADESSE 3rd, and MERGA there in 4th. So all the favorites are in the race. They're starting to string out now because this is where the 4 miles more or less into it.
Well, they're 2:41 at the last K, so we'll wait and see when that next split comes through.
So if we're on 26:50 pace, we need about 18:16 here at 17 laps. We're looking for about 18:16, and I think they're going to
be close. TADESSE now, a little bit of
right on it.
Yep.
Again, they're still right at 26:50. A lot of guys in here. SIHINE, here's your 2-time Olympic silver medalist. He's running in 6th place. He probably knows Kipngetich better than anybody.
Well, no secrets for most of these runners. I mean, they find themselves on the same tracks all summer long.
Absolutely. So if we,
18:47.91 at 7,000 meters, just a shade under 2:41 for that last kilometer. So not terribly faster, but we'll keep watching that as they look as though they continue to pick up the pace here as
KISORIO is pressing the pace here. And this is his game right here. He doesn't have the closing speed of MERGA. This is where he has to make his move. He's got to make sure this pace is fast and solid for the next 3 or 4 laps here. He's been pressing it here, and it looks like he's making some daylight here. Now this is where